All right, so this is the second day of If Only I Knew, and we're talking about finances, of course, with Mr. Warren Wilkinson. And of course, you know, while you're considering your financial position, you know, you got to be protecting your physical assets that you have, and of course, through insurance brought to you by Woolworths, you can cover those things. But covering the most important thing, which is actually your own health, is you know, one of the most important things you can do, because most people don't think about it like that. And when it comes to healthcare, we talk something about gap cover, something I knew nothing about until I spoke to Warren. How are you?
I'm glad. Thanks. I'm well.
We haven't even greeted each other.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I think you've touched on a very, very good point. It goes back to what we've been trying to deal with in the last quarter, is what are the things that erode your wealth and what are the things in your portfolio that create wealth.
Okay.
Now, the absence of something like gap cover in your portfolio is most definitely an eroding factor in your wealth. Because what typically happens is, and I give this example to my clients, if I am the best brain specialist in South Africa and you want me to operate on you, then you will pay the fee that I command.
True.
Whether you've got medical aid or not is not my problem. You know, with respect, and I know that sounds harsh,
but that's
and I'm not saying every specialist takes that line, but you have a case where if a specialist is involved in an operation, then they will typically charge 4 times the medical rate.
And the medical rate is
pretty much the regulated rate or the agreed rate that a medical aid would pay to a provider, either in a hospital or a medical specialist involved in a particular procedure when you go into a hospital.
So there's a kind of a standard rate that goes across the board, and that's called the medical rate. And like you say, a specialist usually charges 4 times that much. Okay.
And the confusing thing for people in most cases is they look at their medical aid benefit statement and it says that they're covered at 100%. Now, any layman will say, well, I'm covered 100%. I mean, I don't want to be covered 99%.
Exactly.
It's 100%. Unfortunately, that's 100% of the prescribed medical tariff.
All right.
So when you go to a government hospital, that's pretty much 100% cover. When you go to a private hospital, it's 200%.
Wow.
So 200% is the indicative private rate when you get admitted to hospital.
Hence the gap.
The gap. So if we look at the screen, we've got an example of the 4 times the National Health Reference Price listing rate that a medical professional may charge, and then the 100% cover that we refer to when it comes to in-hospital cover if you're covered at 100%. So we have to deal with this gap cover. Now, gap cover is an insurance product. It is not a medical aid. So you can only start claiming after you've actually physically paid for it yourself.
All right.
If we look at the next slide, it'll give us a very practical example of the type of costs that you may be in for. Now, something that most of us should go through at some point, well, not all of us, but ladies, natural childbirth. There we're talking about a specialist cost of at least 3,300 Rand. At your 100% rate, where the 4 times rate could be as much as 13,200 Rand.
That is a big difference.
And that is a gap of 9. So we're talking about eroding your wealth. This is the shortfall that you're going to have to then, you know, sign up with your specialist to pay off over the next 10 or 5 years. Looking at an example like a knee repair, there the difference is 17,000 Rand. Heart bypass surgery, it could be as much as 63,000 Rand in gap cover.
And in most situations, it's not something that you really have a choice to kind of say yes or no to, because if you need the heart operation, you need to do it. And at the end of the day, you're left with that. So that's how important gap cover is, sir. Thank you very much. Your wisdom, I appreciate it every single day. All right, now we're crossing over to Ewan, who has a restaurant review for us. You take it away.